Hi everyone, it's Miss Fan, your Learning Center Specialist, and we are on chapters starting at chapter 14 with Stand Up Yumi Chung. Here we go. The next morning, I joined my friends among campers gathered in front of the nursing home right as Jasmine is going over some last minute tips. Listen, there's going to be all kinds of folks who live in this facility, she explains as she unloads a few microphones and speakers from her car. Some are going to be more responsive than others. Just remember that your humor can bring a lot of joy, so don't be intimidated by the unfamiliar. Just be yourself. We help carry the equipment inside. Do you realize that this is the first time performing outside of the Haha Club? Sienna says, straightening her pink velvet cowboy hat. This is going to be next level. I'm totally nervous. Are you? A little, to be honest, Felipe says. Me too. Even though I practiced 7 of my strongest jokes in front of my laptop for almost an hour last night, I still felt unprepared. We hurried into the common room while Jasmine set up the audio stuff in front of the stage area. She greets them in her great big voice. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jasmine Jasper, and today our young comedians from the Haha Club down the street will be performing a very special comedy show just for you. Let's give them a warm welcome. For the next half hour, I watch my fellow campers take the stage while trying in vain to rein in my jitters. I watch one act after another, reminding myself that today is crucial for helping me narrow down which material I want to use for the showcase and audition. If I want to impress my parents, I have to pay attention to perfectly to every detail: my pacing, my body position, my volume, all of it. Just then, Jasmine calls my name. I run up to the front and grab the microphone from the stand, straight, taking care to stand straight up and fully face the audience. Thank you one more time for Jasmine Jasper, I say with my arm extended, just the way I practiced at home. When the applause dies down, I launch in. I wish my parents were more relaxed like my friends. She has the coolest parents. They let her do whatever she wants and wear whatever she wants. She doesn't have curfews and she doesn't have to stay up late to and she gets to stay up late to watch R-rated movies. She once complained that they keep signing her up for so many acting classes to foster her creative spirit. I say with finger quotes. The only thing my strict parents want to foster is a 4.0 GPA. I get a smattering of courtesy laughs. No biggie. I'll get them with the next one. I remind myself to walk. I'm not a plant. Last week, Last week, I was explaining to my immigrant parents how my friends get paid for each A they get on their report cards. I wait a beat, and then I dropped the punchline. My dad looked me square in the eye and said, Should I also pay the dog to poop? I get nothing, just stone cold silence. The man in the front row loudly whispers to the lady next to him, That's really harsh. No one laughs. Instead, they start murmuring, and I hear phrases like tiger parents and abusive. Oh no, they've got it all wrong. My parents aren't like that. My dad was just trying to be funny. Suddenly, my throat is dry and I can hear my pulse in my ears. So, excuse me, there's really an awkward stretch of silence, and I struggle to move on with my next joke, but I can't. I'm stuck. Right then, Jasmine steps up to the mic and puts me out of my misery. Let's give it up one more time for Kay Nakamura. I sling off to my seat, ashamed that I'm toast after only 2 jokes. My mind reels with a million things I could have said or done differently to avoid the disaster. The pressure crushes down on me so hard, I'm not sure if I can even stand beneath it. Soon enough, the show's over and we head out to the front to wait for our parents to pick us up. That was absolutely brutal, I muttered to my friends. At least it's behind us, Felipe says. Easy for you to say. You finished your set. Unlike me, I'm the only camper Jasmine had to bail out. I turn to Sienna, who but doesn't say anything because she won't even look at me. What's wrong? I ask her. She blinks hard. I didn't exactly appreciate using my family as the butt of your joke. I'm stunned. What? No, you weren't the butt of my joke. I was. My parents were. Really? I was saying how jealous I am of you. She turns her back to me. That's not how it came across to me. I look to Felipe, but he stays quiet. Sienna, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Honestly, I was only trying to be funny. She jams her hands in her pockets. Whatever, just drop it. Right then, Jasmine calls me from behind. Hey, Kay, can you help me with this equipment to my car? Sure. I walk over. Jasmine probably senses it because she asked me, "Are you still thinking about your set?" Yeah, definitely. Didn't go as I intended, I say, to sort of hide my feelings. It happens to the best of us. Don't beat yourself up over it. Who knows? Next time you might get a tutti frutti jelly belly. What? A jelly belly? What are you talking about? The tutti frutti jelly belly, she repeats, looking at me like what she's saying indeed makes sense. You know, when you get a pack of jelly bellies, it's a mixed bag. You get the okay flavors like bubblegum and banana, some awful ones like buttered popcorn and licorice. Side note, Miss Man really likes the buttered popcorn. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, but when you get a favorite one, it makes having to get through all the bad and mediocre ones worth it. For me, it's all about the tutti frutti one. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about. She opens the trunk of her lime green hatchback. Listen, what I'm trying to say is that comedy is like that. You can't know which jokes are going to work until you try them. And when you do, they're not all going to be great. Some will be decent, some will be so bad you want to reek, you want to retch or throw up. But even now and then, you discover a winner, your favorite Jelly Belly. And that's what we comedians live for. Oh, you mean the comedian's high? Exactly, Jasmine says. If you think about it, your set today was more of a root beer jelly bean, and that it could have been due to a number of factors. Might have been the crowd, might have been your wording. It doesn't mean that it was a bad joke. It just means it's not ready yet. You have to keep tweaking it. There's no fixing that set. It is a dud. Total failure. Jasmine slams her car trunk shut and leans on the bumper. Well, most jokes start off as failures. It tells you what isn't working, which is a very valuable thing. Living with failure. Jasmine says, with air quotes, an essential part of being a comedian. I smirk. Mom and Dad sure would have some colorful opinions about that. You think I'm joking? But I'm not. I live with failure every day, she says, even now. What do you mean? You're a YouTube star with tens of thousands of fans in a comedy camp. That's not failure. She starts laughing. If you only knew. I teach at the Haha Club and online to help kids and to pay my bills, but you better believe I'm still out there pounding the pavement. I want to be a writer for kids TV shows. I'm not there yet. In fact, this year alone, I got passed over 2 comedy writing gigs, one for a show on Cartoon Network and the other for Disney XD. But I still keep hustling. Oh, I say. Hey, I don't let these setbacks stop me, probably because I can't help it. I love to make people laugh. She winks at me. What can I say? I'm a sucker for the tutti frutti jelly beans. I smile. We head back to the front to the nursing home, and all the campers have been packed. Thanks for your help with the equipment, she says. I'll wait for you until your parents come. Oh, no, 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 that's fine. I'm taking the bus. The stop's really close. Okay, then. Think about what we talked about. Failure is your friend, she says as we part. I walk over to the bus stall around the corner. It is true. I do appreciate her whole get back up again message and everything, but she'll never understand the world I'm coming from, the same way I don't understand her world or Sienna's. Let's be real. My situation is different. I can't afford to fail over and over like they can. I'd literally have one, to convince my parents that I should pursue comedy at Pan's, and all the jelly bean flavors on the planet will not help me with that. Chapter 15. Sounds like good advice, yeah? This doesn't work? Try something different. Tweak it. Chapter 15. It's Sunday before lunch service. It's Sunday before lunch service, and I'm helping Dad install the new disco ball he ordered from the internet. Feels good. Feels good for construction to be finished, Dad. I say, climbing. Ah, feels good for construction to be finished, Dad says, climbing up the ladder. Look at this stage. Isn't it great? I have to admit, it's really cool. The soft lighting on the raised wood platform fills the entire back area, giving our restaurant a cozy focal point. Karaoke will be a hit with the new customers. It'll bring back good fortune to our family. It is a relief to see him smile again. He hasn't talked about it much to me, but it's clear the way he stomps around the restaurant that he's still upset about how things went down with Yuri. Earlier today, I overheard him talking to Manuel. 20 years I raised her, but she will not even answer my phone calls. So ungrateful. My dad's been distracted by everything since then, but this is the best mood I've seen him in days. So, Dad, how does the disco ball work? He perks up. Let me show you. He hits a button on the remote, and the sparkly globe glitters as it rotates, dappling the wall with traditional brush paintings and festive dots of lights. I hoist myself up on stage. Ooh, it really transformed the place. I spin my arms around, outstretched. I feel like I'm on American Idol. Right? He leans the ladder against the wall and admires the disco ball. I grip the microphone from the stand. Ladies and gentlemen, and multi-talented restaurateur slash singer superstar, Mr. Bong Joon. My dad, the ultimate karaoke king, cannot refuse the microphone. He takes it in both hands and belts out his go-to song, an old classic Korean folk a cappella. He sings it in perfect pitch. Ho rang nabi na han mari ga dat patai anjo andi. I thought it wasn't good to show off, I giggle. Who's showing off? This is just how I sing. I cannot help, Dad says, playing dumb. Mom rolls her eyes as she plops into an empty booth with a cardboard box in her arms. You two stop being foolish and help me. Mr. Montgomery is going to be here soon. I dedicate this song to my best dressed wife who makes most delicious food in Koreatown. Then he croons a Korean love song, showing off his silky tenor. Mom runs her fingers through her hair. Agi cham na, which means something similar to, oh, come on now. My parents' lovey-dovey mood is cute, but only in small doses. Ugh, I think I'm going to lose my lunch. Mom waves us over. Now, come help me finish this. I join her in the booth and start bundling. Hey, Dad, when is the new studio stuff going to be put in? He smiles broadly. They are coming this Wednesday. We have to close restaurants so they can install, but it will be worth it. I knew any mention of the audio equipment would keep him in good spirits. He's the only Korean dad I know who rocks the Beat by Dre headphone, who rocks the Beats by Dre headphones. I ordered the top of the line speakers, he says. That's great, Dad. I grab another handful of plastic spoons. What about the publicity for the grand reopening? How are we going to spread the word? Aha, I show you. Dad goes over and unboxes the newly printed posters for the big event. I got these made. I will post them at every church and restaurant in Koreatown. Churches and competing restaurants don't sound like the most obvious places to attract new diners. Oh, I have an idea. I pulled out my phone. We should create an Instagram account and post Facebook too. The hashtag K-Town is popular. A lot of food writers and social media influencers. Omo, Mom interrupts, pushing the phone away from my hands. Put that away. You don't know what people are on internet. Oh, we don't need, Dad says. We have these posters, and I already put ad in Korean newspaper. He slides the posters back in the box. What about the people who don't read the Korean newspaper? I asked. How are they going to hear about Chung's barbecue and karaoke? What are you talking about? Mom secures a rubber band to her bundle. Everyone reads the Korean newspaper. No. The Weigukin most certainly don't, but I don't want to argue with her and ruin this moment. Then Mom chimes up loudly from her purse. Then Mom's phone chimes loudly from her purse on the hostess stand. She gets up to answer it. Hello? Her back straightens when she hears the voice on the other end. Oh, yes. How are you, Mrs. Pack? Mrs. Pack, I break into a cold sweat. The plasticware slips from my hands. Why is she calling my mother? As I scramble to retrieve the fallen culture, I strain my ears to catch the bits of the conversation. My mom paces around, a few times. Our Yummy did that? Our Yumi did that? Mm-hmm. I can't tell if it's good or bad news. Shoot, did Mrs. Pack find out I've been sneaking off to the haha club? I hold my breath. If there's anyone who would find out, it'd be her. She knows everything. She's calling to rat me out. I just know it. My life flashes before my eyes. Thank you very much for calling me, Mom says graciously. Yes, goodbye. I hold my breath, preparing for the worst. What did Mrs. Pack want? Asked Dad, who's also hovering over her. Mom pauses. She called to tell me Yumi is studying hard and improved her practice test the other day. She got the 92%. What? I'm straight up slack-jawed. Hallelujah. Score is not there yet, but at least you are making progress. Mom shakes her finger at me. You need to study more to reach your goal, okay? Yes, Mom. I know it doesn't sound anything like a compliment. In fact, it probably sounds more like a scolding, but I know what she's saying. She's pleased. My mother is the type who is unable to say anything encouraging without attaching some kind of warning to balance it out. Like when she tells me, you are pretty, but you don't put on sunscreen. Your skin will turn rough like dry squid. It's just her way, but I can read between the lines. It occurs to me that this is the perfect moment to initiate Operation Show My Case while I have them on my good side. Tell them I'm getting an award for Hagwon. Explain that Mrs. Pack is having an award ceremony for her top students at the new venue next to the library. Don't mention that it's called the Haha Club. So, Mom, Dad, I have something very important to tell you, I start to say. Dad glances at me. Okay, but hurry up. We have meeting at 11 o'clock. I take a deep breath. So there's this special award ceremony? Award? My mom repeats with a glimmer in her eye. What kind of award? From Hagwa? But there's some knocking at the door. Oh, it's me, a deep voice calls. Lloyd. He's early. Dad nearly falls out of the booth as he scrambles to unlock the door. Mr. Montgomery, please come in. Mr. Montgomery, or as my parents pronounce it, Mr. Montgomery, is the guy who owns the strip mall where our restaurant's located. And every time he sees me, he gives me a lollipop like I'm a little kid. Well, if it isn't Yumi, he says as he steps inside, you've grown so much since the last time I saw you. He lets out a hearty laugh and pulls a dum-dum pocket from out of his pocket. Thank you. What's this meeting about anyway? Mom gives me a look, and I take my cue to make myself scarce by hauling up into the kitchen, peeking through the crack in the door. Good to see you, Mr. Montgomery, Dad says. Bong, please. Mr. Montgomery shakes his hand. I've been telling you for 15 years, call me Lloyd. My dad says it like he's trying not to swallow his tongue. This man's name is seriously a native Korean speaker's worst nightmare. Welcome. Would you like some tea? Mom asks. No, thank you. He straightens his necktie. I won't be here long. How can I help you? My dad asks. He removes his well-worn cap. You've been my tenant here for a long time, and I've enjoyed doing business with you. So this isn't going to be easy for me, he says. Just say it already. I'm under a lot of pressure. You're 2 months behind on rent. He coughs into his fist. Bong, you know I consider you my friend, but I can't let it slide anymore. My muscles contract. Obviously, we're having financial problems, but it was no bad. I didn't know it was this bad. I'm sorry, Mr. Montgomery, Dad pleads, searching the table like he's looking for his dignity. My father is not the one to apologize. Is not one to apologize, especially not like that. He bows his head in shame like a little boy getting scolded by his father. The construction cost for renovation is more than my budget. Please, sir, we just need a little more time. Our grand reopening is this Saturday, Mom begs. With that, to my great relief, Dad regains his posture. He stands up beside the table. Yes, that is right. We have our grand reopening and we want to go pay back all past due amount. He walks a few paces and gestures to the brand new karaoke stage behind him. Just a few more days and we will have the money for you. Mr. Montgomery takes a look at the place, noticing the new stage for the first time. I sure hope so, Bong, he says with a resigned sort of smile, because that new Pilates studio next door is interested in expanding in this space, and if you can't make the rent, I'm going to have to explore that option. I can only give you 8 more days to get on track, he said solemnly. Good luck. Dad grabs Mr. Montgomery's hand with both hands and shakes it vigorously, jostling the old man like a rag doll. Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. You can count on me. Mom shakes his hand too. Please have a good day. After the door closes and Mr. Montgomery's gone, Mom collapses into the booth. Don't worry, Yobo, Dad reassures her softly in Korean, massaging her shoulders. Trust me, Uncle from San Jose can give us a loan, and we can make the rest at the grand opening. This is no problem. We will be okay. But will we? That's a lot of money to make up in such a short span. For the first time in my life, I think my parents might be in over their heads. There's a lump the size of a disco ball lodged in my throat. We need help. Chapter 16. I'm on a bus bound for UCLA a few hours later. I've had enough of Yuri's silent treatment. If she isn't going to answer her phone, I'll have to talk to her in person. This is serious. Except getting to her turns out to be much harder than I thought it'd be. Finding the Starbucks shouldn't be this difficult, I thought. I'm this close to calling it quits and going back to Koreatown where I'm supposed to be when I finally spot it. Across the street in the window of a huge building there's a tiny sign that blinks coffee. I wiped away the beads of perspiration dotted on my forehead and crossed the street. She freezes when her eyes meet mine. Yumi, what are you doing here? I had to talk to you and you weren't returning my text. I stammer, reminding myself to hold my ground. I knew it was going to be a bold move to show up and at her work unannounced, but I had no other choice. I need her. How did you even get here? Her tone is terse. I took the bus. The bus by yourself? Yuri's eyes bulge. Well, me and Surrey, I joke. Do Mom and Dad know you're here? No. They think I'm at Ginny's. I fidget with the loose thread on my backstrap. Right then, a petite lady in a gold swimsuit waves her arm wildly at my sister from the beverage pickup area. Excuse me, miss, I ordered a decaf soy latte with extra shot and cream. We'll be right with you, ma'am. Yuri unties her apron. Hey, Bruce, sorry to do this to you, but something has come up that I urgently need to take care of. It's okay if it's okay if I take my break early? Bruce checks his watch. Fine, but only 10 minutes, okay? He says with a tight smile. Disgruntled pantsuit lady drums her French manicured nails on the counter dramatically. Excuse me. Bruce will take care of you. Yuri leads me outside to the courtyard where there's a bench next to a huge fountain. What's going on? Is everything okay? I get straight to the point. There's no reason to beat around the bush. It's the restaurant. We are in trouble. I fill her in on all the details of Mr. Montgomery's visit. She sits there a moment with her arms crossed and a blank expression on her face. Well, aren't you going to say anything? I search her face for something, anything, but there's nothing. You came all the way here while I'm working to tell me that? I'm not sure what you thought I was going to tell you. A flash of anger burns my cheeks. You're supposed to help fix this. Why is she acting like she doesn't care? We could very well lose the restaurant in a matter of days. Like, this isn't her problem, too? She takes a deep breath. I'm sure Mom and Dad know what they're doing. We have to trust this grand reopening karaoke thing will be a success. That's it? That's all you're going to say? If I'd known Yuri was going to blow me off like this, I wouldn't have wasted hours of my time wandering all around freaking UCLA in search of her advice. Look, It's not like I'm a genie who can solve all of our family problems. Apparently, I turn away so I don't have to look at her. All you care about is leaving us to join this stupid Peace Corps. My throat aches with repressed tears. You don't know anything about what's going on with me since you can't bother returning my texts. Yumi, that's not fair. Her voice softens. You know, I've got a lot of things going on. I don't even want to hear it. Well, for your information, so have I. Not that you'd care. You're too busy with your new life to know how stressed out I've been about the showcase this Thursday. I say coolly with resentment I didn't know I had. What showcase? She jerks her head, suddenly confused. I panic, realizing my mistake. The one at comedy camp? I say, my lip twitching. You got mom and dad to sign up you for comedy camp? There's a moment of awkward silence. Yumi, she scolds me, sounding exactly like mom. This is bad. Very, very bad. It's too late for me to backtrack now. I have no choice but to come clean. Big mistake. What? No! Yuri snaps. Do you mean to tell me that you've been pretending to be Kay this whole time? Behind mom and dad's back? She sucks in her breath. Yumi, what are you thinking? I double down. This was your idea. You're the one who told me I needed to pursue comedy, remember? If I don't go for it, I'll be chasing mom and dad's dreams, not my own. Those were your own words, not mine. But I never told you to lie and pretend to be somebody else. Yuri's eyes Yuri's laser beam Yuri's eyes laser beam into me. Have you considered that someone somewhere is paying for Kay to go to comedy camp? Not you. That's like stealing. Did you realize that? I hesitate, the words jamming up in my mouth. Well, I wasn't thinking about that. I thought I was I thought it was destiny for me to meet Jas and Jasper. I avert my eyes. Anyway, it's not like I'm hurting anyone. No, Humes, it doesn't work like that. She flings open her purse and grabs her checkbook. Listen to me. You need to fix this. You are going to the Haha Club tomorrow to tell Jasmine Jasmine the truth. Then you are going to give her this check and apologize for your deception. But Yuri's face is dead serious. And then you're going to confess all of this to mom and dad. Yuri, please. I can't. They'll make me quit camp without ever seeing me perform, and then they'll send me back to Pam's. Or they'll never send me to Pam's. Then my life will be over, and I'll be back to being the easy target at Winston. Yuri's face crumbles as she hands me a tissue from her bag. She puts her arm around me. Come on, don't cry, Yumi. I bury my head in my arms and let the crashing sound of a fountain drown out my blubbering. I get myself together enough to tell her about the operation show my case. I've been staying up past midnight every night studying my butt off to prove to them that I can do this so that I can give them 98%. Then maybe they'll take me seriously about comedy. You know how mom and dad are. They won't support anything or they won't support something until they see it. Isn't that why you waited to tell us about the Peace Corps? She looks uncomfortably at her hands, avoiding my eyes. You keep you keep the whole Peace Corps things a secret from them until it was a done deal. You even kept it from me. My voice cracks. Yumi, I don't want to. I just wasn't ready. Well, neither am I. You of all people should understand why I need more time. Please don't make me tell mom and dad yet. There was a long pause. Fine, she says, but I still want you to clear things up with Jasper. It's the right thing to do. Promise me. Okay, I will. I take the check and tuck it away into my notebook. By the way, that's a loan. She taps my notebook with two fingers. Just so you know, I have a bunch of extra shifts to cover. I have to work a bunch of extra shifts to cover this. I expect you to reimburse me as soon as possible. Okay, I sniff. She nudges me with her elbow. Look, let me see what I can do about the showcase. I'll ask Bruce if I can get the day off. Manuel and I can hold down the restaurant during lunch rush so mom and dad can go. I maul at my sister with a giant bear hug. Thank you, Yuri, thank you. Then, but then I push my luck. So does that mean you'll smooth things over with mom and dad? It's about time they settle things anyway. Yuri relents. I suppose. Great, I say. This will fix everything. Well, what would I do without you? I rest my head on hers. Okay. I'm walking to the haha club and the butterflies in my belly are the size of vultures. I breathe in through my nose slowly. Don't overthink this, Yumi. Simply tell Jasmine what happened, apologize, and give her the money. She is kind and she'll understand, and chances are we'll laugh about the whole thing tomorrow. Gulp. It's now or never. I knock softly on the door. The door flings open. Hey, Kay, Jasmine says with her phone to her ear. My body temperature plummets. Now that we're face to face, my confidence drains from me like the dishwater through a greasy trap. I wanted to talk to you about something, but I say since you're on your phone, my voice alters. I can come back later. She gestures for me to come into the empty lounge. Don't be silly. Come in. I'll only be a minute. I'm on hold. Okay. I follow her into the staff lounge. Ignore the mess. Comedians are such pigs. She wandered to the kitchen area. Make yourself at home. I sit down and get out my super secret comedy notebook with Yuri's check inside the front flap. If only I could just throw it at her like a paperboy and run away. Then I hear Jasmine say, "No, that's okay," into the phone, and her face shrivels in disgust. What? You know I can't do that, Mark. My ears perk. She paces back and forth in the kitchen like a cat stalking a mouse. I'm not going to sue her. She's my former student. Sue? That sounds pretty serious. I look away and study the promo posters that line the wall, trying not to eavesdrop. They all stand in front of the same velvet red curtain, holding a microphone, doing a set. Living the dream. No, listen, there's got to be another way out of this. Call me back when you have more information. She hangs up without saying goodbye and comes my way. I hear bangs in my chest as at warp speed. Thanks for waiting. Important call from my lawyer. Legal stuff, she says. She sticks out her tongue and crosses her eyes like a dead toad. I let out a nervous chuckle. So much drama today. Apparently, a former student is stealing my jokes. Really? What kind of monster would have plagiarized her own teacher? Yeah, it's some hot buttered nonsense. That does sound buttery or nonsensical. I mean, bad. I'm not used to dealing with adults telling me their private business, so I wonder if Jasmine could tell. Jasmine has a bewildered look in her eyes that she's wound up and needs to vent. The red flags were everywhere, now that I think about it. She comes over to the club out of the blue to say hi, and after she leaves, my notebook has gone missing. And pretty soon, video starts popping all over the internet with her doing stand up with my material. At first, I thought it was coincidence because I didn't want to believe she would be the one who took my notebook. But it's clear, crystal clear, she stole it from me. Wow, that person is some gall. Everyone knows that notebooks are off limits. Some things are sacred. I hold tightly onto my own notebook, the very one I started last year after watching Jasmine's Improving Your Craft vlog, episode number 4, recording your comedy material. If anyone ever stole mine, I'd die. My obituary would read, Yumi Chung, age 11, tragically perished from overembarrassment when her most intimate thoughts and dreams were read by others. And to think of it, I was her mentor for 3 years, she says, shaking her head slowly. I'm sorry to hear that. What's worse is when I called her out, she had the nerve to deny it. She did? Mm-hmm. Said it wasn't her. Jasmine grimaces. After all the time and energy I'd invested in her, she lied to my face. Lied, throwing her arms up. My fingernail digs into my thighs. That's the part I still can't get over. Her mouth bunches to the side in disdain. Lord knows I try to be a forgiving person, but if there's one kind of person that I cannot stand, it's liars. Suddenly, the walls start closing in on me. She looks directly at me. You think you know someone. Uh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm oversharing again, she says. She leans in close to me. Now tell me, Kay, what did you come here to talk to me about? The check is right there, right in the front flap. All I have to do is open it and give it to her. But I can't. I can't. She'll know I'm a liar, another liar she can't stand. She'll never forgive me. And she'll tell mom and dad, and they'll make me leave camp, and I'll lose everything. I clear my throat against my better judgment, and I do it again. Lie through my teeth. I I was going to ask you if you could write me a letter of recommendation for the Performing Arts Magnet School. Jasmine's face lights up. Now that's what I'm talking about, she smiles. I'm writing letters for Felipe and Sienna too. Look at you putting yourself out there. I'm so glad you're auditioning for this. Fear of failure is a real thing, but you're not letting it scare you anymore. Oh, thank you, I mutter, getting to my feet. You are very welcome, she says warmly. I'll have it ready for you tomorrow. Okay, I put my notebook back in my bag, the check and the truth still in it. Mrs. Pagwan sends home a progress report. Comments. Yumi is making continued progress. She is beginning to participate more in class and is showing more confidence in her answers. She has been consistent with turning in her assignments, currently at 96%. Areas of concern. Yumi needs to work on staying awake in class and taking notes of only class related matters.